Hey guys, welcome to week number 2 of your Intro to Hebrew class. I got an email from Jonathan who asked a question I thought maybe everyone could benefit from, so I want to answer it on the announcement page. He asked, Dr. Miller, I have looked ahead and want to get a better understanding of what a good textual analysis looks like for the intermediate class. Do you have an example that you could email me? Well, I just want to talk through that question, and I think that I can help Jonathan understand what textual analysis looks like and what you guys are going to be responsible for this semester. Right now, up to this point, you are doing some broad reading. Let me put it to you this way. Let me compare your grammar class to this class, and maybe the difference will help you understand. When you took your grammar class, you learned basic vocabulary, you learned how to parse verbs, and so what you would do, if you were like me, you would use what you had learned in your class, and you would try to you're looking at your Hebrew text, you're trying to figure out what the Hebrew says, and then you would compare it to your English translation to see if you're right. So when you saw a vocabulary word, you would take a guess at what it was, and then you would look at your English translation to see if it's right. So you're always referring to that English translation to guide yourself. But now for the intermediate class, you throw out the English translation. You're looking just at the Hebrew, and you are the translator. We are treating you as the expert. Now, I know that you're not an expert yet, and you certainly don't feel like you're capable of translating without some type of guidance or some type of English version to refer to. But for purposes of this class, that's what we're throwing you into. We're moving you to that level that you are the translator. So no longer are you trying to figure it out and then comparing to an English translation to see if you're right. You are translating. It's on your shoulders. So what you're doing these first 4 weeks is you're reading some just basic foundational tools to get you started. For instance, when you look at your Hebrew text, you'll be starting in 1 Samuel. So you've got your Hebrew Bible open and you're looking at the Hebrew text. Where do you start? Well, first of all, you have to know you're looking at a critical edition of the Hebrew Bible. You're looking at the BHS. You're doing some reading now to find out that there are other critical editions out there. So first of all, you have to have that awareness that this is the Masoretic text. And what does that mean? Okay, so with that in mind, then you are looking at your text that you're going to be translating, and you're trying to translate it. Okay, so that's going to bring up issues of looking up whatever vocabulary you don't recognize, translating, parsing the verbs there, and then when you need help, referring to your resources so that you can translate. So you do your best to get a basic translation from what you've learned in the grammar class, right? Okay, then you are going to look at the textual apparatus, which is at the bottom of your page of your Hebrew Bible, and you are going to see whenever there is a textual discrepancy. For instance, if the Masoretic has a verse in one way and say the Septuagint has it in a different way, your textual apparatus is going to alert you to when that happens. Okay, so then you are responsible for looking at the textual variant and using your resources and using what you've been reading here in these first few weeks of the class to make a decision about what is the most likely accurate reading of that verse. Is it the Masoretic reading? Is it what the textual apparatus is telling you, pointing to another edition of the text that maybe says it differently? So you've got to make decisions about that. Okay? Then you're going to have to make decisions about specifically about how to translate portions of that verse. So syntactical decisions. For instance, when there's a vav, how is that vav to be translated? In your grammar class, vavs were just and. You translated them as and. You didn't know anything else at that point. But now you're going to be finding out that's not always the case. There's many ways you can translate a vav. Prepositions, different ways to translate those in their meaning in the text. So you're going to have to be making syntactical decisions. You're not referring to that English translation and just going with whatever it says. You are making a decision, and you're going to be using other references to draw from to help you make the best decision for that. And then, so that's going to kind of be your procedure. When you get to the text, you're going to open your Hebrew Bible, you're going to look at the whole page, you're going to try to translate, so you're going to deal with your grammar issues and look up vocabulary words and get your parsing, use whatever resources you need to help parse. Then you're going to be making decisions using that textual apparatus about textual variants and those types of things. You're going to be using your syntactical resources to best translate how that phrase should be translated, how certain prepositions and conjunctions and all that should be translated. And you will be making those decisions, not haphazardly, but using your resources to draw from to help you make educated decisions. So I hope this helps Jonathan and all of you to kind of formulate in your mind a systematic approach of how you're going to do textual analysis. And when you get into your IBH, it will task you and help you with this process as well. All right, if you have any other questions, send me an email.